Well, it's official. Keen just made their most minimal trail running shoe yet. And it comes with a super interesting sustainability story. Definitely the most interesting in the category right now. The Keen Wander is a $140 trail running shoe with a 4mm drop, 27.5mm stack, and a firmer midsole than anything else in Keen's lineup right now. It's built for runners who want to feel the trail underfoot, rather than float above it. It also introduces EcoEnd, an industry-first biodegradable midsole technology that accelerates decomposition from centuries down to years once the shoe reaches the end of its life. Don't worry, it doesn't happen whilst you're running in it. It's not a fast shoe, and it's not trying to be, but this one is a really nice companion for all-terrain running, and it really does deliver on what it promises. Okay, let's kick off with the key specs. They cost $140, and I'll let you know by the end of this review if I believe they're worth that price tag. But let me tell you right now, $140 for an all-terrain trail running shoe, that's actually really good. They weigh 10.1 ounces or 286 grams. That's for a size US men's 9, my pair. They have a drop of 4mm, that's 27.5mm at the heel and 23.5mm under the forefoot. The upper's using a barely breathable performance mesh with reinforced overlays. I'll get into breathability in a minute, but right out of the box, it's super comfortable. The midsole is using the new Keen Regen X compression resistant foam with EcoEnd biodegradable technology. More on that in just a moment. The outsole has 3mm abrasion resistant rubber lugs, which have been Helux rated for 925 plus miles. That's crazy. When it comes to sizing and fit, go with your usual US sizing. These are very much true to size. Classic with Keen's fit, and there's a nice amount of room in the toe box to give yourself a little bit of toe wiggle and just air and room to breathe. The upper wraps really nicely to the midfoot, and you get a really good heel lock down here as well. There is an extra eyelet if you do have narrow heels and you do want to use racer's loop heel lock method to actually get more of a tight connection around your ankles. Then you can definitely do that with these. If you're not sure what I just said, then follow that link up there. That's a demonstration of how you can do the racer's loop lacing method. If you're enjoying this review so far, which I really hope you are, make sure you like the video. Really appreciate it when you guys do that. Super easy to do. Just tap that like button and it'll make me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. And of course, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, and that'll let you know as soon as new videos drop. And if you're not familiar with the channel, my shoe reviews are always genuine, honest, and as insightful as possible to help you decide whether or not the shoes I'm currently reviewing are going to be the best ones for you or not. So if that sounds like a channel you want to subscribe to, which I hope it does, hit that subscribe button. And if you've had a chance to run in this shoe yet, I want to get your opinions. What did you think? Put the good and the bad in the comments down below. That's going to be super helpful to anyone who visits this video. It'll help them decide whether or not it's going to be the right trail runner for them or not. So I really appreciate as much information as you can. Moving on to my performance review then, I'm going to first talk about the ride experience, because this is what's really hard to put down on paper, and it is very different to the other two Keen trail running shoes, which I rate incredibly highly, by the way. The first one is the Keen Seek. Follow that link up there to go watch that review. That's an all mountain trail running shoe. It's got more cushioning underfoot and it allows you to go further into the mountains. Very capable trail running shoe and super comfortable. That's that one here. And then you've got the Keen Roam. That is a road to trail hybrid running shoe, which is great if you just want one shoe to run on roads and light trails as well. That's a fantastic performer too. And then along came the Wander. This is a trail training shoe, I guess you could call it. It's kind of a daily trainer, but it's got a minimal feel. So it's for doing all your training runs, not really an ultra running shoe or a technical all mountain shoe either. So this one is just for bagging nice, easy miles. And I say that because the ride experience is firm. It's firmer than those other two Keen trail running shoes. And that's something that's really important to understand before buying this one. It's really going to be for those trail runners who really want to feel the trail underfoot, rather than gliding on top of it because there's a high stack and you've got so much cushioning under your shoe. Believe it or not, there are a lot of runners out there who don't like that experience. It takes away from the grounded, connected sensation that so many people love about trail running, myself included. So I like the fact this is minimal, but it's worth noting that it does feel it. So unless you're used to running in a minimal shoe, things to note, you are going to want to be picking up your cadence, so you're not putting as much downward force or pressure in your gait cycle. That would just make the experience so much better and enjoyable. It's an agile, controllable shoe as well. But as long as you've got that high cadence, you're not going to really get affected by a firm ride. It's actually going to be a really nice experience. And then you've got that 4mm drop, which also changes the experience of a ride. If you're not familiar with low drops, they definitely encourage you to land more towards your forefoot. And with that, you end up using your calf muscles more. So you are going to have to work your way into a shoe like this to get used to it. But in the long run, I think it's a really good move to do so. It's more natural and you're less likely to pick up injuries over time because of that more natural stance. If you'd never used a low drop 4mm running shoe or 0 drop running shoe, then I really recommend you give it a go. But the 4mm is a great introduction to 0 drop running shoes because you don't have to step all the way into that barefoot running experience. You get to transition to it a little bit more gently, and that's definitely a safer option if you're not used to it, because you are going to be using different muscle groups and you might pick up an injury if you just jump into 0 drop straight away. Then moving on to stability, this is actually a very stable running shoe. It's not a support shoe or a stability running shoe, so to speak. It's very much for those who have a neutral gait, but because there is a rock plate in here for a little bit of extra protection, that acts as a stabilizer of sorts. It gives you a little bit of extra rigidity in the shoe, not so much in the flex here, but in a torsional flex, it just gives you a little bit of rigidity and protection and stability. It's also a pretty low drop and the foam is quite firm, so that all makes this a pretty stable running shoe when you look at the competition. I have to say though, you definitely do feel the trail beneath. So even though there is a rock plate in here, I still feel sharp rocks underneath my feet. Not digging in, but I feel the trail beneath, and that's by design. It is actually nice to understand what you're running on, what you're feeling connected to, and actually dynamically adjusting to the trail. You can't really do that if you've got too much cushioning underfoot because you just don't know what you're actually running on. A more minimal shoe like this, you can tell if it's soft ground or if it's hard rocks underfoot, roots, all that kind of stuff. And that helps you actually navigate the trail, and in the long run that actually benefits you because it teaches you to naturally approach or just go for parts of the trail which are softer, more enjoyable to run on, and just better for your joints and muscles. When it comes to traction, the 3mm lugs aren't the most aggressive. The pattern just doesn't suggest bite on the trail, and that is really my experience on the trail as well. It's just not very good on slick, wet rocks, thick mud, or even things like wet grass. It's just not the best traction pattern for that. If you look at the lugs here, there's quite a lot of surface area on the rugs. I'd like to see some chevron biting design on here, pointing forwards at the forefoot so I get bite going uphill, and then backwards at the heel so it catches me going downhill. At the moment, these lugs, there's just too much surface area for me. It's not aggressive enough to take on anything too technical or any sloppy, wet kind of trails. That's definitely worth noting if you are looking for a running shoe that is more capable on technical and deeper mountain trail running. If that's something you're looking for, look towards the Keen Seek instead. I've got to mention breathability as well. This really is not the most breathable. If you're going to be running in very hot conditions, your feet are going to heat up very quickly, like mine have been, because I live in Florida and it gets crazy hot out here right now. So not the most breathable. Shoulder seasons or winter running, that's not going to be a problem. So you've got to decide where you're going to be running in these as to whether or not this one's going to be the right one for you based on if you need airflow into the shoe. Durability wise, it's incredible. It's pretty much one of the best in the category, as with Keen's other trail running shoes, with ratings over 925 miles. That's absolutely insane. Most shoes can average around 350 to 500 miles. That's when you should kind of really replace them. What this one isn't then is it's not a bouncy shoe. It's not the most fun, responsive propulsion experience going on with this one. And it's not a fast shoe, and it's not a cushioned long distance running shoe either. But what it is a very quiet, unobtrusive trail training shoe or daily trainer for trail running. It's very easy to enjoy. I like the minimal feel because I like feeling the trail beneath, and I like that low drop because it puts me in a natural stance, and that's just better for you over time. So you can think of this one as just handling your training miles. And then finally, I'm just going to quickly mention this EcoEnd technology because it is changing the category and it's changing sustainability for running shoes. And Keen, I believe, has said they are thinking about releasing this proprietary technology to other brands so that we can get more biodegradable midsoles to help with the sustainability issue in running shoes right now. Organic compounds in the midsole accelerate biodegradation to 9.6% after just 30 days in an active landfill. And don't worry, it's entirely dormant during the shoe's life, with no impact on performance or ride. If you're shopping around and you are looking for a trail running shoe, definitely head up there to my best trail running shoes roundup on alistairrunning.com. That'll help you find the right ones for you. It's time to cast my verdict. Is the Keen Wander worth $140? Well, yes, $140 is an incredible price for any trail running shoe. So one that's actually good, yeah, of course it's worth the money. But I have to say this again, this is not going to be for everyone. Anyone who needs more protection and cushioning underfoot, you can count this one out. It's not going to be for you. This is the one for those people who want that minimal feel, but still get protection underfoot, but they want to feel the trail underneath their feet, rather than gliding over it and not feeling as connected to the place you're running. I think there are a lot of trail runners out there who are totally going to understand what I'm saying here and what being able to feel the trail beneath actually means for your experience on the run. It is actually quite an important aspect of being out in nature and moving through nature and just enjoying the experience on the run rather than chasing personal records as you go. Well, I really hope you enjoyed this Keen Wander review. If you did, remember, like the video and make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, and I'll see you on the next review. Peace.